What's going on YouTube? So today is going to be a fun one. I just picked up this Ducati 1199 and was looking at aftermarket mufflers for it. And if you have one of these bikes, you know they are crazy expensive. These mufflers are anywhere from 2 grand all the way up to about 5 grand. And I just can't justify that. I was pretty lucky and found a stock muffler that somebody else replaced and picked it up for 40 bucks. So we are going to modify this stock muffler today, and I'm going to show you how to essentially get a free exhaust. So after I purchased this bike, the previous owner let me know that the bike's already been tuned for an exhaust system. He just took the Acura muffler off and sold it for 3,500 bucks used. So that just goes to show how expensive these mufflers are. People are spending 3,500 bucks for a used system. So can't really blame them for selling that separately and making a little bit more money on the sale. But it's definitely a bit frustrating because that would have been the perfect setup on this bike with the carbon mufflers and stuff. You've seen those pipes. So this is the stock muffler. It's going to be the same on pretty much all Ducatis with this style of muffler. You have your inlet here and it goes in to a catalytic converter, and then it fires down into this chamber and actually comes back out, and this tip would basically be your muffler. So we're gonna take these sleeves off, we're gonna cut into this pipe, and we're gonna decat it, and then we're gonna weld it back up, slip these covers back over, and you would never know that this was modified. Nice part is, even if it's pretty loud, it's still a stock Ducati muffler. If you got pulled over, police wouldn't be able to tell this has been modified in any way. So you shouldn't get hassled for noise pollution. This will essentially be a ghost delete. So if you like the stock look of these mufflers, which they do look pretty good on the bike, I'll show you how to keep the stock look and get some sound, and more or less for free. So let's get into it. If you just want to hear the sound clips at the end of the video, you can fast forward. But yeah, I'll be comparing the stock sound with the modified exhaust sound at the end and give you a really good comparison. And yeah, that stock exhaust does look pretty good on there. So, and the nice part about having a spare muffler here, if it doesn't sound that good, I can just put the stock one back on. So this will be kind of a free experiment, and I'll be the guinea pig for you guys. So to access the exhaust, just pop the one fairing off here. Super easy. A couple screws along the top, a couple on the bottom, and then there's one on the inside here. You can see it on that side there. And then as far as the mounting for the exhaust, it's a couple 10 mils there. And there's kind of tight, another Allen key up top. You can see it on this guy better. Your 10s and then a couple Allens. Super easy. And then your one connection up top. Got both mufflers on the bench. Just confirm they're the same. Did a little test fit with the new muffler. Everything's gonna fit properly, so let's proceed. A couple of 8 mils. These brackets just pop off. And then these sleeves come off really easy. Little insulation. Nothing to it. Now we have the raw muffler exposed. I feel bad cutting into this thing. It's in really good shape. But we're just gonna cut along the pinch weld here and expose the inner guts. USA, USA. So I decided to use the original muffler I had. It's in a little worse shape. Keep the one in good shape as a spare, just in case this doesn't turn out. But now for the sketchy part. I just took a wire wheel, cleaned off where we're gonna cut, and I'm gonna try and cut 3 sides and kind of fold the bottom open, just so that I can close it and it's gonna line up properly, and we'll re-weld it after we're done. Got some precision tools here. Let's get to cutting. And here we are, exposed catalytic converter. So you can see the honeycomb inside. That's what we're trying to pound out. You can see the cut on this side that I made, and I just folded this open. So now you can see the exhaust flow goes in through the center, through the cat, and this is the muffler. Kind of turn around here, and the flow actually goes through this chamber, sealed, and then out the tips. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just gonna start air hammering, see how it turns out. If I need to, I'll cut a little bit of a relief in this as well, but I'm gonna try and leave this intact to help the flow get into the really small muffler inlet. All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this kind of sucks a bit. As you can tell, I'm out of breath. I'm hammering on this thing. I did have to cut some relief holes in here just to kind of work around the outside of this pipe. And this material on the inside is pretty dense, especially once you start to compress it. It kind of compacts and balls up. You can see this one's almost out. I got kind of lucky, was hitting it with the air hammer, and it kind of broke free around the outside, and it's almost coming out as one piece. This side, not so much, but let's keep working away at it. You got to be a little bit patient with this, but we're almost there. All right, so we successfully got one side out. So this actually turned out better, keeping it kind of in one piece and just hammering around the outside to loosen it up and break it free. Get it out all in one chunk. This side I'm struggling with because I kind of hammered all the material to bite onto, and it's not broken free around the bottom side yet. So still working at it, but originally I thought this side was going to be harder, being more material in there, but it actually turned out to be easier. So if you're doing it, work around the outside. You pretty much have to do a relief cut here. And then I started hammering on the material once I broke it free and punch it out as one piece. Oh, we're looking for it. Here's the last one. There she comes. And just like that, we have a free-flowing exhaust. So it goes without saying, this muffler is no longer street legal. This is going on my race bike only. But you can see, straight through shot, right to the accumulator on the other side, where both cylinders kind of go into this muffler design. And then we still have our single outlet chambers intact going to our outlets. And I'm not going to modify those at all. I think this is going to be extremely loud already. So now kind of assessing the damage, I'm going to try and fold these back in, fold these flaps in, kind of have as straight a shot into the outlet as I can, and let's see how it turns out. This portion definitely kind of sucks. I didn't want to cut this as much as I did, but didn't have much choice. But it turned out better than I thought it was going to. I was kind of nervous starting out. I really didn't know if I was going to get the entire core out, but it's super smooth in there. It turned out really well on both sides. So let's finish it off. So I bent these back into shape. I'm pretty happy with that. Prepped them for welding. I'm just going to MIG the inside because nobody's going to see it, and it'll be a little bit easier with this seam here. I don't think I can get my TIG torch in there and filler rod. And then the outside, I might try and TIG it and make it look a little pretty, even though you're not going to see it. So I got the first set tacked up. Nothing fancy. That material's super thin tin or whatever that is. So it's pretty hard to weld. Had my welder on the min setting and it was still burning through it pretty easy. So definitely got to take her slow, but turned out pretty good. And now the exhaust flow won't be compromised. Should flow more or less the same as factory. I think this is gonna turn out pretty good. I think I'm just gonna end up MIGging this because there's a lot of tension on this flap. And I'm gonna have to hold it with one hand, tack it into place, and can't really do that with filler rod and a TIG. And there is quite a big gap to fill, but we're gonna get her done. Yeah, really challenging. You can see right here, pretty much as soon as you start a bead, it blows through. And this is on my lowest temperature. So really hard stuff to weld. Yeah, that's just tacking it. One tack after another, not holding a constant bead, and we're still blowing through. So just a heads up, these are pretty challenging to weld, is what it is. I'm just using a cheap Lincoln welder, minimum settings. And we are back together. Turned out not too bad. I mean, these welds are definitely not the prettiest, but I did a little bit of MIG and TIG. Neither material really liked to stick to this factory pipe. So it was challenging, and we were filling a really big gap there. So it is what it is, but the nice part about these is we'll slip the sleeves on and you won't even know. And just like that, we're back together. You'd never know this was decatted. So let's weigh this new decatted pipe with the old one, see how much weight savings we have. So we were on the scale there, 13 pounds and about 16 ounces. So just shy of 14 pounds decatted. This is our stock unit, 15 pounds, 12 and a half ounces. So pretty close to 16 pounds. Not a huge difference, but a couple pounds is a couple pounds. Now let's get this thing back on the bike so we can hear what it sounds like. So quick summary, my final thoughts here. Was this worth doing? I really enjoyed the process, and I think it did make a little bit of a difference in the top end. The bike seems to make a bit more power. If you can see in the video there, the front wheel was coming up a little bit on me in second gear. I was trying to keep it down for those pulls. So it runs great, no drivability issues, anything like that. This project might be a little more than the average guy wants to take on. Getting that muffler off of the bike was a little bit of a pain. A couple fasteners were hard to get at, especially with that rear tire on there. If you took the rear tire off, would make it a bit easier, but you need a special Ducati stand for that. I didn't have one. The metal that muffler is made out of is pretty challenging to weld, so just keep that all in mind. I would still do it again, but it's pretty time consuming. I was nervous of the exhaust being extremely loud and obnoxious or sounding hollow and tinny. I didn't get any of that. So it doesn't sound hollow at all. It doesn't sound much louder than stock, really at all. A little bit deeper, throatier sound. I know the camera probably doesn't pick it up. You really notice the decel pops and backfires a little bit. So it sounds really good in person. All in all, if you're kind of a handy guy, I would say go for it. This is a nice, cost-effective way to get an exhaust on your Ducati. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the process with me. And I'm gonna get out on this bike again right now and go ride it some more because it's much more enjoyable to ride. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.